how do I put it? It was like, what do you care about them? What do you care about those people? What difference does it make to you? Take care of your own life. Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. You know, what's the end goal? The end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. They want a one-world government controlled by them. Everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip.
Yeehaw, howdy partners, this is Rise Above. What's going on with the chat? Why can't we see the chat? Welcome everybody, it's Friday night. We are back again with the hottest podcast in the whole goddamn peasant sphere, Michael. How you doing, Andy Peachy?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. That's a good accent you've got going on there.
Listen, tonight is Tales from the USA.
Did you get that from Human Vibration?
Big shout to Human Vibration. Big shout to all the people at Realise Radio, Rambo, Joey, Leo. Mate,
awesome. That was an awesome little meet-up.
We're going to play the video later on. Yes, I'm saying it's true. On Wednesday night, myself and the P to the G, we travelled all the way up to London to meet up with Human Vibration. She was in the country for like 4 days.
Hey, you travelled up. I travelled down.
You travelled up, I travelled down, Mac.
Fucking 4.5 hours to get to Human Vibration.
Yeah. So collectively, we travelled 6 hours. So let me just sort my macro mullet out. We collectively travelled 6 hours to meet up with Human Vibration, and we, like I say in the interval later on, we will play the video for that. It's a very special episode tonight. Welcome to our guest who's sitting in the background there. Say hello, Richard Ryder.
How's it going, guys? Good evening.
Easy, Richard. We've got Matt. He's not doing producing tonight. He's getting some shots for the new intro that I'm building. So big shout to Matt. Let's get all the cameras on the go. This is
He's just going to be snooping around at the back with the camera.
Yeah, 4 cameras. So tonight is Tales from the USA. Why are we doing a show?
Is that why you're dressed like a fucking hillbilly?
Yes, of course it is. I like to get into character. Apart from that, I'm rocking the first ever prototype Raw Academy snapback. What do you reckon? This is the prototype. If I'm feeling fruity, if I'm feeling generous, right? This might be some sort of giveaway competition tonight for this hat. Who knows?
Ooh, Michael.
And if you might notice, I'm also sporting the new Ra Perel wife beater.
Well,
these will be available soon.
Nothing more appropriate if you're going hillbilly, brother.
Big shout to everyone that's tuned in. Eye for an eye. I see ya. Dan Greenfinger. Auntie Covia. Yes. Eye for an eye. James Dinsdale, I see you too, bruv. Andy Pandy 33, Lord Dobesworth. We've got all the regulars in tonight. Rachel McCaskill, Cameron's dad, you're new. I see you there. I hope we've got some like proper fresh viewers because I've been pushing this stream out to some other places because I want some new viewers tonight because we've got some pretty.
You've been branching out into the peasant sphere.
I was branching out, mate.
Before we go any further, so I need to give a shout out to MC Malik for last week.
Yeah.
For coming and stepping in while I was away. I was at a festival up north with my lovely good wife, Miss Becky Ass, and beat her at a festival. I'll tell you what, they know how to fucking throw a party in the north. That was off the chain.
Was it as good as it looked?
Mate, it was the best festival I've ever been to.
Really?
Hands down, mate.
Mate, you haven't stopped talking about it. I reckon it was good.
If you haven't gone to Beat Herder, you need to get tickets to Beat Herder, guys, yeah?
Big shout out to Becky, yes. I reckon we should get her on the show soon for a chat.
She'll be down there in a couple of weeks, mate.
Excellent. We'll get her in the studio, even better. So
she might be down there for your birthday week, mate.
Oh, Michael. So what I was talking about a minute ago is why are we doing a show called Tales from the USA? Well, we've got Richard here. Richard, you've recently come back from the US, right?
Yeah, so...
Nearer to the mic, mate.
Yeah, so basically, I've been going to the US quite a lot before lockdown. I've met a really nice community there of people, but I've just grown to actually like the place. But obviously there's a lot of controversial parts of America.
And American culture as well.
Yeah, and things that they're getting right, but certain things that are getting way, way wrong as well.
So tonight we're going to be brutally honest.
Yes, we are. And also, we got a guest phoning up who's obviously been, her family's been victim of failure of the system in America. So she's going to be phoning up and sharing her story with us as well.
Excellent. Now, apart from your little insight off the back of your trip, there is other USA themes going through tonight, and I'm going to go straight in the deep end in a minute with my expose, or my dig, rather. I don't know if I'm exposing anything, you might already know, into this Sound of Freedom movie. And Michael! And apart from that, I've...
What?
What? Listen to this.
What?
I've also upgraded... Do you see
Yeah,
that
yeah, there's
he's
no pause,
Yeah,
there's no
and we got
pause.
rid of the snare. This
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
more powerful...
Yeah, but that's... Oh my god!
I told you, there's always upgrades going on. So apart from his trip to the USA, apart from my expose on this, and it's going to be QAnon based as well, hence I'm dressed like a hillbilly.
And I've got my John Podesta t-shirt.
Yeah, John Podesta t-shirt. He'll be mentioned tonight. Apart from that, obviously we've already said we've been to meet Human Vibration, who's come all the way over from Texas. So
What a legend.
It's been a real USA themed week. Richard came with the
And we had our
subject for
on
this
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, okay, it's a couple of weeks ago. Richard came with this theme to me a couple of weeks ago. Let's put this together, and all these other USA bits of the puzzle just fell into place. So we'll just do a few little big ups at the start, as we normally do. It's Rise Above. Where are the QR codes? Right, so if you want to support Rise Above, this is how you do it. This show will always be free to anyone that's new to this platform. Our Friday night stream is always free, but we do sell merchandise. We have an excellent range of merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts,
Buy
shorts,
yourself a
vests.
hillbilly wife beater vest.
This isn't available yet, but we have got other vests on there. The summer range is ready to go. This is how you support us. You can scan the QR code, and all of the proceeds go straight back into this new organic media station that we are building. Apart from that, we also have a second channel. On the second channel, it's all different content and edits of these long streams. So we have an excellent editor called Slick Ricks. He gets out the finest filet de mignon of this rabbit right from the bottom of the rabbit hole, and he serves it up for us in these amazing bite-sized chunks. So make sure you subscribe to the second channel. If you don't, you're missing out. Also, what else have we got? We are sponsored and in partnership with Roots Brands Wellness Products. If you want your CBD, your detox products, Zero In, which is... Got some Zero In down here. I'll find the box in a minute. We need to take some Zero In. Amazing products, and if you buy it, you support us as well. Anything else in the QR code? Oh, and most importantly, see the hat here? This is a Raw Academy hat. What's Raw Academy?
What? Wow.
What is Raw Academy?
Raw Academy is a education centre for right-wing extremists.
Yes. So the next bit of learning we've got coming up is with Richard Ryder. It's digital nomad training. It's next Thursday. We've already got 22 people on this course, which means there's another 11 spaces. It's 33 people in the class.
Of course.
It's only £5. And in this introduction hour seminar, which is fully interactive, you can learn how to extract money from the digital peasant sphere passively. You can learn how... Richard, please tell them it's your fucking course.
Yeah, so basically, what I've been doing in the last couple of years is learning how to make money from using the internet, various sources from dropshipping, forex trading. But if you're not business-minded, I've also found ways that you can just make money freelancing, being customer services for social media companies, and basically it's just freeing up a lot more of my time. There's no get-rich-quick scheme, there's no pyramid scheme behind it. It's just honest hard work, but from your home when you want to do it, and as little or as much as you want to do. One of our companies has just hit £100,000 gross in a year. I'd say about 20% of that's net profit. But what's good about it is it's making money when I sleep. It's making money when I'm on holiday. I'm matching my wages. For example, I was just in Valencia. We were averaging £400 or £500 gross a day. And when you think 30% of that's net profit, to be sat by a poolside whilst that's happening is more than...
Because you're literally living the digital nomad lifestyle. That's what it's affording for you to...
Yeah,
you just come back from
I mean-
Spain. You were in America a few weeks before that.
Yeah, and then we were in Mexico in March. We were in Malta in January. It's not like it's going to massively turn you into being a millionaire. But what it's doing is it's allowing me to work my own work schedule, and also it's given me enough of a disposable income that I can travel.
And it could be right. It's not just about business people and entrepreneurs.
No.
This could be a stay-at-home mum that wants a side hustle.
Yes, and this is a project. I'm going to actually be doing a focus group around single mums, stay-at-home mums. I'm going to take on 10 people free of charge, and I'm going to mentor them through a business. But what this is about is I'm not just selling you one stream of income here. I'm finding out who you are as a person, what your personality is. For example, Andy, he's a snowboarder, so we're going to be working alongside with a blog with him, get him into a bit of affiliate marketing, which is basically making commissions off products, doing reviews on products and that. Obviously, we've tied in some stuff with Lance with his affiliate marketing and his cameras.
This hat is a product of your advice. Using drop shipping. This is the prototype I've got through. This is not from 528 Create, my normal supplier. This has been done all online, all for Richard's tutelage. So what we're talking about, what we're offering to you guys, I'm already using it. Rise Above is already utilising what Richard is teaching us. So it's a $5. This is an introductory course to find out if it's something that you're interested in. Going forward, when we do these follow-up courses, this is going to be more intensive, and it's actually going to be helping you through once you've got your projects off the ground. This is going to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, and what's important about this is it's personalised to each individual and their needs, their work schedules, their childcare schedules, and personalised to their hobbies. Because what's important here is when you learn how to monetise a hobby, it no longer becomes work.
Yes.
And you've got a passion behind it. You've got a passion to drive it, and when you find that one thing that you're passionate about, that's when you can really push something and create a lot of opportunities for you, your children, and the people around you.
Mate, I'm really excited about next Thursday. So scan the QR code. It's only £5 for this introductory seminar, which is an hour, and you get follow-up support on Telegram too. And we're not stopping here. We've also got coming up in September a Raw Academy with Toroidal Dynamics. We're going to be going to be starting a monthly transformative breathing workshop online. It's only £10, which is a fraction of what Toroidal Dynamics charges for a one-on-one. So it's a more affordable way for you guys to get this kind of experience that is normally £50 or £60 an hour. And also I'm visiting his studio next week. He has a physical studio now in Westbourne.
Be careful, mate. You might not come out of that.
So the HR department is we've got a new HR department channel. I'll be talking about that next week or the week after. We're going to be going there next week. Okay, people are scanning the QR code. I like it. Raw Academy is taking off. Look what it says on the hat, Raw Academy. Right, shall we get down to business?
Let's do it. Let's go.
Okay, listen, guys. Right. Tales from the USA. I'm going to kick this off.
Are we going to Clown World?
No, we don't have time.
No. I mean this is Clown World.
Well, yeah, you could say this is Clown World. Actually, this is it could be an example of hardcore Clown World.
I'll start it up.
Let's share the screen. Okay, now I'm sure anyone has heard about the phenomenon of this movie called The Sound of Freedom. Let's get the screen up here. Big shout, everyone. So we're going to have a quick break now where I'm going to show the video. Let me just get it up. Of still on the America theme, and Richard Ryder's up next. Don't worry. So here we go. This is what we got up to on Wednesday night, guys. I hope you enjoy. We will be back in about 10 minutes. So yeah, you guessed it. Me and Andy PG are here live in the Big Smoke. Rise Above has made it to the capital for a very, very special meet-up with Human Vibration.
The head of the serpent.
We are absolute amateurs when it comes to travelling around in London. That's for damn sure. I need to get to Bond Street. Right, there's Marble Arch. I found Marble Arch.
Bond Street, D3.
That's D. This place is absolutely infested with peasants.
It's NPC Fest, they're everywhere, man.
Well, that was highly unpleasant. Funny enough, we googled how long this train journey from Richmond to Marble Arch was. Is anyone going to guess exactly how long this train journey?
33.
Screenshot that. So me and Andy PG are here at Marble Arch. We're waiting for Human Vibration, which is admiring some of the old world architecture in central London. Don't often get to come and walk around down here on the street, so it's kind of nice.
Above ground, the fucking peasants down there.
It was like a peasant pressure cooker down there. But we made it. We made it to this real swanky place.
Swanky pants.
Called a Sound Cafe. And we're now just waiting for Human Vibration to make it here. She said, get a booth. We've got a booth. Fucking hell, Andy PG. This is dedication, right? How long have you travelled to be here?
4 hours, 25 minutes. And then I've got another 2 hours to go to get home.
I travelled 100 miles, 2 hours, just to come and meet Human Vibration for a couple of hours, basically.
But we won't get this opportunity again, my man.
No, that's
Not for a
absolutely
long
true.
time.
Yep. So that's what it's all about, physical meetups, taking things off the screen, making these connections. Big shout out to everyone. It really happened. It really fucking happened. Me and Andy PG have taken our physical meat suits to the capital of Peasantville because the H to the V is here. Say hello to the Welsh folk.
Hey guys, I've lost my voice, so I sound a little different. We've had a lot of fun. Came to London for the Realize Radio meetup. Big on my bucket list was meeting these jokers. We spent a lot of time together, and I love your show. I love the audience. You guys have the best audience, the best relationship with your audience. I was so like heart-filled to actually meet you guys in person because you're exactly as I thought you would be, and I mean that in the best way.
Oh, that's so cool, man. That's so cool.
Listen, it's all about the energy to meet you and all of these other lovely people we've met today. It's fucking special. It is so special.
All the 33s.
All the 33s. We've been talking about 33s. Say hello to the camera. Say hello to Rise Above.
Joey, yeah.
Big up Joey. We've been dropping bombs, spudding each other, talking about every element that we cover on the show.
Guys, you've got no ideas of the conversation we've had around this table with all 6 of us. 6, you know.
Yeah, big up everyone from Realize Radio. Going forward, Rise Above Realize Radio. That's a fucking standard, set in concrete collaboration. Believe me, it's so good to fucking meet you. Come here, give us a kiss.
The French way.
One on each cheek for the French way, like a Belgian bun. You tasted a Belgian bun from Britain,
First
right?
time.
Yeah.
I had my first Belgian bun. Yeah, one of the Realize Radio listeners just showed up with a Belgian bun just now. Little treat for just a token of gratitude.
So listen, we talk about taking things off the screen a lot. This is the example of it. Travelled thousands of miles to come over here. We've travelled hundreds of miles. It's been absolutely brilliant. Going forward, wait for the next Human Vibration presentation on Rise Above.
Yes, it's going to be epic.
In precisely 3 months and 3 days.
In 333 days, no, only 33 days. Guys, big up. It's a great conversation.
It's never the right. No one's wrong about doing the great work. Everyone, no one person can talk about fucking Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, fucking satanic orders, like, everything. You know, the stuff you go into humorously. The way you think is completely outside the box to other researchers. The same as what they think about, which you haven't got. It's all a spectrum of. So no one's got one answer. Yeah.
You know, the piece of the puzzle. We all have something. Everyone, us, everyone listening, there's something inside each of us as humanity collectively. I think we all have a little piece of the puzzle. Some may have more pieces, but as we actually connect in real life like this, like we're kind of forever, like the puzzle piece that you have is now on my map forever. Like it's just the picture is gonna be clear.
If this is the puzzle, right? In this jigsaw, this is not a jigsaw you can play on your own.
No.
Unlike a standard physical cardboard jigsaw, you can play that on your own all day, you can complete that on your own. This jigsaw you cannot complete on your own. It actually requires other people, other meat suit perspectives.
True connection.
Because each one of these is the lens.
And you think the dark occultists, they're doing the same thing. We're doing this for the light.
Absolutely.
And they're doing it for the dark.
What you think they don't sit around a round table like this, sharing ideas, empowering each other.
From their dark jigsaw
Of course
puzzle.
they do. That's why we're doing it too, Rise Above. That's the way. So I'll tell you what, we're here outside a Sound Cafe and I'm here with Rambo of Realize Radio. Say hello to Rise Above.
Hello everybody, Rise Above.
It is fucking refreshing to be around real sentient...
We're having a good old chat in there.
Real conversations in which we're...
If some of the people in this place were over listening to what we've just been talking about, they're probably going to be in for a little bit of a shock. But yeah.
Lots, flip the camera, just show them some of this old world
brick-cladded structure here.
We are bathing ourselves in the antiquitech of the capital city, right? Tell us all about it.
This is the Realise Radio. It's more of me and Human Vibration. We kind of talk about anything really. It's more thought-based and playing with ideas of what possibilities are outside of the conspiracies we're kind of shown. Do you know what I mean? Like
Opening up like the playground where we can toy with these ideas.
Yeah, where some of it
Outside the
sounds
box of the mainstream concept.
outside the box of the mainstream conspiracies, and that's what I feel like we do. We like talk about sports, all sorts of stuff like rigged sports. That's kind of like my go-to subject. And I mean, it is like
I'm going to talk to you about rigged sports in a little bit because I might have a bit of an insight for that as well.
Yeah, so that's like kind of become my thing at the minute. Is a change of interest in. Well, I mean, it could go from the old world to gematria to sports using gematria, and yeah, that's what we do. We just outside the box. That's what I describe. That's the best description, is to say we're.
It's also important to mention these guys have formed a community.
Yeah, of not that we're looking for like that hive mind thought, but it's some people that are realise like there's something to these conspiracies, that there's more to it. Maybe these ones that we're seeing every day that everybody knows. Yeah, shit's coming true, and that's where I've been through the stage of people thinking I'm crazy, do you know? And then now it's like it's coming true with what you've said.
Now the football pitch is there. Now we can actually get the ball out and start to properly have a play.
And I can feel around me and awakening around me through what I'm saying, do you know what I mean? So people like 3 years ago thought it was nuts. Now they're like, maybe I was nuts. You know, they were nuts. You know, it's like thinking outside the box, and that is the thing. And it's changed my life for the better. And I've never felt I could be completely wrong about everything I say, but for whatever it is I'm believing, the peace it's brought inside me.
And also, providing
know?
the space to toy with the ideas. It's not off, still recording. The red light's on still, Andy. DG, don't worry. It's not turned off. It's just saving batteries.
Which, with some people, they find it's pretty dangerous to step outside of what everybody's saying, and we're saying it like individual, like it's very out there.
And I also think having fun with the ideas as well.
Yeah, that is the best. But you've got at this point in time, you've got to laugh about it. Got lost, I'll be crying. Do you know what? That's where we're at with it.
We've had the dark night of the soul already.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm at the point in my life where I try and make it humorous, but at the same time, something to what he's saying there.
And what I'd like to point out is, right, Rambo here has made it possible for this meetup to happen. This Realise Radio meetup is why we've come to meet Human Vibration. We talk a lot on the show about taking things off the screen, about physical meetups, about making actual connections, and that's what we're here doing today, so it's all good.
So social media, as bad as it sounds, has been a positive to meet people like yourselves and people like Human Vibration and come together and have these real conversations that you cannot have every single day.
And I'll tell you what, it's so refreshing to be in the presence of other people that understand, that can discuss these things without sticking their sword in the dirt too much and arguing about it.
Yeah, it's open conversation, and that's the best bit about it. None of us are closed off to this is 100% what it is. Do you know what I mean? And that's where what Realise Radio is about. We're not stuck to saying this is our way or the highway. We're kind of open to all ideas and changing our direction.
Bro, it's been a pleasure to meet you, and
Same
going forward,
you,
Rise Above are going to be working with Realise Radio. You heard it here first. Well, Andy PG, how did that go?
Mate, that was dope.
Absolutely dope. Listen, I know I said it many times tonight, but this is why we fucking make the effort to come and physically meet people. Sorry, some peasants interrupted my filming there. No, literally, we could have stayed there all night.
Easy, man.
Chatting to Rambo, Leo, Joey, Human Vibration, Realise Radio. We're gonna be linking with you soon, guys. Fucking awesome.
Rise above.
Rise above. Waterloo Station. Andy PG just walked past the transport police and just whispered, "Order followers," right in their ear. Right, so I'll tell you a little story. Me and Andy PG have had an excellent afternoon in the capital. Obviously, you have to have a credit card or a debit card here. Most things are totally cash free, and there's no arguing. If you have cash, you simply can't pay, right? Now, in Sound Cafe, where we met Human Vibration, a young lad came over to get the money for the drinks, and Andy PG said, like,
what's it like now since there's no cash? And he was complaining, not getting any tips. You know, he was really hurting because he wasn't getting any tips. So Andy PG says, I've got something for you, brother. This will change your life. He reached into his pocket. This guy's face lit up. He was like, wow, he's going to give me a big tip that's going to change my life. Andy PG proceeded to give him a Rise Above sticker out of his pocket.
With the digital Schwab code on it. I said, scan this, brother, Friday night, 9 p.m.
The look on this guy's face was priceless.
Auntie Coviet, that was not Mackie D's. That was actually in a health food shop that was
the
serving
only
fresh
fucking
wrap.
place that had any
think-
actual food in it.
I think we're going to be eating Mackie D's. Guys, thank you for noticing that I'm a bit trim. I've been skating like 15 miles a day for the last 2 weeks. My fitness journey is going to be documented on the HR channel coming very, very soon. Big shout out to everyone. That was an amazing meet-up, wasn't it? Fucking brilliant. Right,
time.
Richard Ryder is our special guest tonight. We're going to get him from the comfy sofa. Do you want to swap with Richard?
Yeah, mate, let's slide over.
Remember, Tales from the USA tonight is not just about my expose of the sound of Freemasonry with Jimmy Saviezel. We're also going to be talking about Richard's epic journey and some of the findings that he had when he travelled across the pond. Oh, what, you swapping round seats? There you go. So don't forget, so if we sold 5 more Raw Academy tickets, that means we've got 6 more spaces left on the digital nomad training. I'm going to put the QR code up right now. It's only £5. It's a little, no, that's the wrong one. It's only £5. It's an hour seminar with Richard Ryder, which is Thursday, the 27th of July. That's next Thursday at 8 o'clock. It's going to be on Zoom. I'll be hosting it. It's interactive. You're going to get to chat to us. Richard's going to be talking all about it. Tickets are only £5 and there's 6 left. Scan the QR code now, riseabove.tv. Richard, I want you to be nice and close to that microphone. Kiss it like a beautiful lady. Mate, how was America?
Yeah, it's amazing. I've become pretty fascinated with the place, not because of America and the politics and all of that, but the range of cultures that actually are there.
Surprisingly diverse.
Yeah. So, obviously, before I go on, I'm going to be obviously talking about the Amish community a little bit here.
Something we've talked about quite a bit on the show, obviously with the metaphor we're using for the Amish community.
Yeah,
it's important.
And the reason before I go on is obviously the Raw Academy kind of contradicts what I'm going to be talking about now and how I'm going to be praising it. But the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing online is so I can escape this kind of world and sort of take a step towards what these kind of communities are doing. So this is why before we go on about the problems with America, I'm going to just briefly talk about the Amish community. When I was in Ohio, which is obviously one of the biggest communities of the Amish, and
they're not like, so for instance, there's quite a large amount of Amish people there.
Yes, so I think Ohio is the second largest community of the Amish in the USA. It is
after what's the first?
I think it's Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Pennsylvania's got 87,000. Ohio's got 81,000.
Okay.
So they're quite high populations of the Amish community. But what fascinated me about these guys is obviously that they don't rely on tech.
Yeah.
It's not part of their everyday life. They don't use cars because it seemed that unnecessary. And they're very self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And so I've done a bit of research into them, and I found this guy called Steve Kirsch, who actually heavily researched the Amish community and the lack of disease and chronic health conditions like cancer that was actually in this community. So this has led my research a bit further, because obviously this is something that's an everyday problem in the Western world is bad health. Depopulation and stuff, and these guys are obviously getting something right. Obviously, I found with the Amish though, they're very religious.
Super duper religious.
Super religious, and they have very strict like codes of conduct.
Could their form of Christianity be compared to the Puritans? that were in Europe, like I believe, I'm going to get this wrong, but 16, 1700s.
Yeah,
and
just before the Jews. That's where the Jewish sort of religion evolved from, and I think it's very much linked to the Amish religion. There's similar traits to it, a similar dress sense.
Because because the Puritans saw like the other more mainstream sects of Christianity as basically heathens, because they were doing ungodly things. And you know, back then in the 16 or 1700s, there wasn't any tech, so to speak. But there was already the break, because I remember learning about the Puritans in school and stuff. Yeah,
and this is why they kind of fascinate me, because they are very pure, and the whole reason why I'm doing and trying to make money online is so I can detach myself from society, and I think there's a medium that can be found between their way of living and our way of living, which would provide a lot healthier condition. I found a lot of statistics out from furthering my research from this community. One of them being they did some research on 800 families, and there was 0 ADHD in children.
No ADHD?
No. And so I furthered this a bit further, and I realised that they don't vaccinate their children at all.
Brittany, they don't Brittany their children. No. Careful.
So when you start to follow these traits, you find that there's less autoimmune diseases. I think it's 90% less.
That's quite a reduction, 90% less.
Yes, so there's obviously something that we should be learning from this community.
Let's have a look at the quote on the screen here. So, this is from Steve Kirsch, right? The Amish community exhibits remarkably low rates of chronic health conditions like cancer, diabetes, autism and autoimmune disease. Their lifestyle choices include opting out of Britney Spears concerts, have seemingly shielded them from these ailments. That's what Steve Kirsch is saying.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because it's not like, if these studies have been done, it's not like people can claim, well, in the Amish community, they don't have the healthcare infrastructure to identify these conditions.
No.
Can you actually say, or can we surmise that when they did this study, they actually went and properly tested these kids using ARM methods in Clanwell?
Yes, yeah. He furthered his studies even further, and he was also he was even giving cash rewards for people that could find people that had been diagnosed with these, and 0 people turned up. He was offering like $50,000 cash rewards to find somebody in these communities.
Could you put forward the argument that if there was someone in the Amish community that was heavily autistic, like, you know, non-functional autistic, that they might be kept in the shadows?
Yeah, possibly, because
that's always the argument that people are saying now, that when you say autism has gone through the roof, the argument from people in Clanwell will be that, well, no, that's not true. We just have a care in the community program now, whereas back in the day, those people were kept in asylums. That's the argument that they put forward. I'm just putting it out on the table.
Yeah. So there always is the possibility they could be hiding these people from the general public. They do live quite an isolated lifestyle. They have their own like way of living and their own little villages and their own communities and stuff. But I would say that generally, if this guy has done a lot of research into him, and you can find him online, so the chances are that there is a reduced risk, even though if the stats aren't exactly right. There's got to be some significance in the difference.
Okay, so I'm just Skyping your contact here to let them know it's a little bit longer. They just say let me know, because we can have someone calling in from the US a little bit later.
Next, we'll obviously be talking about the problems with America, but what I want to take from this community is there's certain things with the way that they're self-sufficient. They do still ride horse and cart. They still do work. They're not too far gone that they're completely on their own. And yeah, their religious studies are a bit extreme, and they do have like a strict dress code, but there is a lot of pros to be taken from this community that I've realised.
Can I just ask a quick question, Rich? Do they use electricity?
Yeah, they do use electricity, but only for the basic needs. They don't have televisions, they don't have internet, any kind of thing that could...
Telephone?
Yeah, they have raw telephone lines but they use them in emergencies basically. But their communities are so tight that I'm pretty sure their front doors are probably all open, and they completely help each other.
What about for farming, like we can see in the image here? Is this?
Yeah, so they own a lot of farmland. Ohio is very farm rich. There's a lot of farmers in Ohio.
They own lots of land themselves. They're land rich people. Yeah.
And I'm sure Sammy might have something to say about them when she comes in a minute as well, because she's obviously experienced.
Yeah, Sammy, if you're listening, we'll call you when we get to the section once we've got through the Amish bit.
Are they using electronical technology with their farming methods, or is it all by hand?
No, they do use farm equipment, but a lot of it is still dated, sort of 40, 50-year-old equipment.
Okay.
No.
They still make their own butter. They still
Is it right that there are different degrees of Amishness? Because when I studied the Mennonites that were in Mexico, the most hardcore Mennonites wouldn't live within five miles of an electricity tower. They still had horse-drawn carriages with wooden wheels. They refused to even have rubber on their tyres. But then you'd see a Mennonite man driving a 1950s pickup truck with his family of 25 people in the back. So there were degrees of it. There were super strict adherence.
Yeah.
Is it the same with the Amish?
So this is where I was going next. Like a lot of my friends obviously interact, and I've been to a lot of festivals around this area. Some of them do commit sins. Away from the commune. We've interacted with children that have obviously, some of the younger sort of teenagers, the Amish, when they escape, for example, where I went to this festival, they used to fish on the guy's land, but he had to stop them from doing it, because when they do have nights away from the commune, it's absolutely like extreme, and they go the complete opposite way.
They go full retard.
Yeah, they
like an 18-year-old lad who's never been on holiday before. He goes to Benidorm, and within 2 hours of getting there, he's drunk everything, consumed all the drugs, and he's just lying on the floor in a mess.
And they're just absolute messes. And the guy said he had to ban them from fishing on the lakes and stuff. And when the festivals do go on there, they try and trade stuff through the
would it be
fence.
fair to also assume that after generations of abstaining from things like alcohol, for instance, that they would have completely lost their tolerance genetically for those substances?
Yeah, so it is a very big weakness for certain ones that do give in to these sort of lusts and
they
sins.
Get smashed super easily.
Yeah, and then they sort of drift away. Some of the men, for example, even though they're meant to be running shops, some of them I know have been seen drinking liquor in the stores and smoking cigars, and because they're away from the commune, so they don't like.
And also, they've probably got a taste of money.
Yeah.
Which they would not have had before. So if they're trading with the outside world, they're using the Babylon currency, and maybe that currency doesn't really hold much value in their own communities.
It doesn't hold much value, but what I think mainly it gets them is sort of medicine and sort of long life goods and stuff, and they mainly trade between the community themselves, rather than they still help each other out, even though they're using the money goes in each other's their pockets, rather than going into someone else's pocket or from another culture.
Ohio train crash has just been brought up. Are we going to talk about that in a little while?
Or I think maybe Sammy might have some input on that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I read a study that talked about the relationship between the Amish and the Mennonites, and they were trading knowledge because the Mennonites actually were completely illiterate. They were hardcore sort of one-man band, so it was quite clear this guy had basically built this pickup truck himself. So a Mennonite man has a huge fuck-off barn filled with lathes and a huge workshop, like the kind of workshop you'd have 20 men working in, but it was just for one guy, because he built everything for his whole family. So the Mennonites were all about building construction, but they were completely illiterate. So I saw this documentary where they were going to the Amish community and they were trading skills with the Amish to actually learn how to read the Bible again, because they'd lost their literacy and they were unable to read their own Bibles.
Yes, so I'm not too educated when it comes with how they exchange stuff, but their religious text is still very old-fashioned as well, remember, so compared to our religious text.
What language do they speak? Because they speak a special language, don't they?
It's an off-German.
Yeah, yes. Same with the Mennonites. They speak an old form of something called High German. It's like a German sublingual sect from the 1400s or something like that. Very strange. Dwight Schrute. But yeah, I mean, I've watched some of the fucking, what's it called? The TV reality programs about the Amish in America that show exactly the kind of situations you're talking about, where they come to loggerheads with the local community, and you've got Amish girls sat around doing what our normal teenagers do, i.e. sat around smoking cigarettes, you know, holding hands, maybe kissing, and then the Amish guy busts in like, what the hell's going on? So yeah, what you're saying about it can actually be witnessed on reality TV in America. It's quite popular content.
Yeah, and I think that this is part of the problem with the community, although there's a lot for us to take away from it, that maybe they're a bit too closed away from it. They maybe need to educate what is out there, because as soon as it becomes available to some of these people, they go too far and they become very addicted very quick.
This is an interesting one. They call their language Dutch, but it's not Dutch, is it?
No, it's an off-Germanic sort of language.
So I suppose you could say, well, I've heard Dutch, like I've been to Holland quite a lot, I've heard Dutch people speak. It don't sound German. No. It does not sound German.
And they use it a lot when they're trading with the outside world, so they get the upper hand in the deals as well. I do know that.
Right. So they'll backchat to each other in Dutch.
Yeah, and also confuse the people they're negotiating with.
Sneaky Amish.
Yeah.
Did you manage to? I know you tried to get an interview.
No, it was unsuccessful. The community don't want anything to do with you.
Not even in exchange for a Rise Above t-shirt?
No. I didn't even get that far to asking a question with them.
Imagine if you come back with a photo of an Amish person wearing a Rise Above t-shirt. That would be classic, mate.
But there was at the festival, there were stories of the kids trying to trade milk and stuff for drugs through the fences and weed through the fences.
Who wants milk at a festival?
I don't know. It's what they were offering them, bits of money.
You certainly wouldn't trade drugs for it.
It was never the full amount of money. It was always half of something and half of something else. But yeah, they're all trying to just grab what they can when they're not at the commune.
So there are problems in the Amish community. Yeah. Is it fair to say that the problems really arise from only one thing? From their interaction with Babylon community?
Yeah, which is obviously where we're going to lead on next, with the problems with the American government, and maybe do they have an influence on this, and would the Amish community act like that? Because
I'm noticing a parallel here between the Aboriginal population in Australia and the Australian government. I met a lot of Australians in Southeast Asia, and I was actually horrified to hear the way population in Australia. What was that? Why did that? We had a little mini echo there. Did you hear that?
Where was that? It's off my phone. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. No worries. As long as it's
checking on viewers.
No, that's cool. It's from your phone. I didn't want to hear it come from here. But yeah, I was horrified to hear the way that these guys were talking about abos, mate.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you talking about them like that? If you've seen the way they fucking act, pissing on trains and getting wrecked, and it's like he was saying, they give the government give them a house and they just set a bonfire in the house, mate. They're animals. And I was thinking, well, maybe those people have a different way of living, and they're incompatible with living in a concrete box. They're incompatible with being given alcohol and going to the 7-Eleven and getting alcohol whenever you want.
Because it's not in our nature, and they live more of a primitive way of living.
A natural earthly way of living, you could say.
And so it's not in our nature to come across these things normally, but because we're programmed into it, it becomes a problem.
Well, we've had generations to cope with it, and I say cope with it, obviously we still have all of the societal problems of things like alcohol and drug abuse, prostitution, and all those things. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what the figures are for child abuse in the Amish community. Probably very difficult to get those figures. Yeah. Almost impossible, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely impossible. But yeah, I definitely see some parallels here as to this traditional way of living with regards to the Amish, or the natural earthbound way of living with the Aboriginal people, government, modern culture. But like that causes problems.
Rich, if they have an issue in the Amish community, do they call the 5-0, or do they sort out them between themselves?
This is another thing that no one really knows. I don't. Maybe you could quickly find out how many Amish are in prison, but I don't think.
But they don't have their own prisons, do they? Within their communities?
Don't. I think they have an internal discipline process.
They probably have a council of elders, but I think it's fair to assume they don't have their Amish police in their own community.
Would you get assigned to butter churning for?
Yeah, I think it's
18 months of butter churning.
Just a strict disciplinary process that you don't get caught. Basically.
Because from my research into them, the big thing about their culture is the thing about shunning. And are you going to talk about this?
No.
Right, because I don't want to step on your toes. In their culture, anyone that basically goes against the Amish way can actually be shunned from the entire community, and they're just exiled. And once you're shunned, if you go back, your family won't even speak to you. They actually ignore you.
And it actually becomes quite hard for them because they got to kind of implement themselves into the real world, and there becomes a lot of issues with mental health then.
I bet. Well, there's enough issues with mental health with people that have had generational programming to be in clan world. Imagine if you've been living in the Amish community and you did one thing wrong, you get shunned, and then you're kicked out, and you're basically like an Amish refugee in clan world.
Yeah, so I don't think it's not something you would want when you picture it, like to go straight into. Imagine not ever seeing the outside world and then just suddenly having to deal with it, and where it leads after that, and where it could lead.
But don't they have a process as part of their rite of passage that when they come of age, Amish people, they have to go and spend like 1 year out in clan world before they come back? Is that true?
I don't think that's actually true. No,
because that's what's depicted in films and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Kingpin, that bowling movie.
I mean, if anyone knows that, like, please come up and correct.
I've heard that. If anyone knows, has got any more digs, like, yeah, let us know. Is that true? Because
I think it's just something I've seen in a movie once.
Is it just in that movie, Kingpin?
Yeah, I think so. yeah, maybe it is. Sorry.
My whole opinion there was based on one movie called Kingpin. I don't know. Maybe. Well, anyone, if you know, let us know. So, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know if Sammy's going to phone in shortly, but where we want to go next is the problems with America.
Yeah.
And the issues with the system. And I was going to...
So you got some case studies, right?
Yeah, and I was going to speak about it myself, but there's a very good friend of mine in America whose family has been very failed by the system, and I believe she's going to phone up in a minute. She's going to share
I'm messaging her. I said we're going to call her. So this is Sammy. Yeah. Are we ready to talk to her? Should we call her up?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get her on the blower. So Sammy, if you're watching, you need to turn the stream off and treat this like a regular phone call.
Hello, Sammy, you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
How's it going?
How y'all doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
Welcome to Rise Above, Sammy. We only have 2 swear words on this show. One starts with a V, and it's the thing that goes in people's arm. You can't say that word. And the other one starts with a C, and it's the thing that caused the injection in people's arms. If we say those words, we get a ban. So that's just what I say to everyone when they come on the show. Don't say the C or the V word. Welcome to Rise Above.
Hi.
Right, Sammy. So basically tonight I was going to discuss the problems with the system in America, and I was trying to put it into my own words, and I just couldn't find a good way of explaining it. And I thought, who a better person to explain it than someone that's experienced it? So obviously I reached out to you and asked if you would like to share your story with us.
Yeah. Where do I begin?
Should we begin with, obviously when I first met you, I opened up to you about my addiction and becoming sober and stuff like that, didn't I? And my fights with addiction, and that's sort of how we connected in the long run. So I don't know if you want to share a bit of what's happened with you and your family and
this is quite a tragic story.
It's quite a deep
story. First of all, Sammy, we really appreciate the fact that you're going to share this with us.
And obviously, I'm quite open about this, and I really want to help people realise what the problems here and how a system there's a lack of help.
Absolutely.
And I just thought maybe you could just share a little bit of what's happened with you and your family this year.
I'm going to try to keep this as brief as I can, but cover a lot
of course.
in a brief amount of time. My oldest daughter, Heather, great kid, wonderful girl. Sophomore in college had a complete breakdown with reality. She struggled for this. She was 19 then. She struggled up until we lost her on April 15th of this year. Her mental health became so bad, she ended up self-medicating. I know addiction can lead to mental health, but mental health can also lead to addiction.
Yeah, and that's kind of how my addiction spiraled out of control as well, because I was self-medicating because I had a lack of knowledge and understanding and help available to me, and obviously,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the problem with America right now. I think our mental health system, our rehab for addicts, the way we treat addiction, and our policing needs a major overhaul.
yeah, and I mean, in England we had a problem with policing, but it is nothing compared to America, which is obviously which you're going to briefly talk about next as well.
Absolutely. Heather, we tried to get her help for years and years and years. There wasn't a place to put her that would keep her over a 72-hour hold.
Yeah.
They drug them up and send them out. That's the way insurance works here.
Yeah. So in the for people in the UK, obviously we got free healthcare, so there's a bit more help. There's a bit more available for the addicts, but in the USA they don't have free healthcare, so it's based on insurance. Just to update, like, yeah. So
exactly, I had her on disability for her mental health was so bad that she was on disability.
Yeah.
But still, the help that they provide is, like I said, they give you 72 hours to load them up with drugs, and then send them home or send them out onto the back out to the streets. Is where she ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is obviously it's very sad that because people need to be able to connect and get the kind of counselling. It needs to be more readily available over there.
Yeah, it was hard because you can't. In the United States, we have this thing called the American Disability Act, which tries to protect the civil rights of people with disabilities, and I understand that. It's a good concept, except when you have a very mentally ill person that needs more care.
Yeah.
That's an adult.
Yeah. This is the problem, because over in the UK you'd get a free carer, you would get housed and stuff, and
if someone was a danger to themselves or other people, they'd be committed very quickly.
Yeah, and they would get the help.
That's the criteria. Is if you're in a danger, but after 3 days of being drugged, they figure you're no danger and they let you go. They don't understand that turning to illicit drugs and meth and stuff on the streets, heroin or whatever it is. They don't understand that that's what they do to medicate, because after you keep them for 3 days and let them go, they don't seek that talk therapy. They can't, and you can't force them into it.
Yeah. It's just absolutely terrible when you think about it. And obviously, you just mentioned as well the state of the policing out there.
Oh yeah.
And this.
Our daughter on April 15th passed away. We just got the results back from that. It took 3 months, but she passed away of meth laced with fentanyl.
So sorry to hear that.
So just found that out yesterday. My great nephew was out past curfew in Texas, in Caldwell, Texas, and he was out past curfew. Apparently with another kid. They said he was up to no good. He was 15 years old. He's never been in trouble with the law or anything. And he went missing. We couldn't find him for a few days. And then we heard about a shooting involving a police officer. And Isaiah was shot in the back of the head by a police officer. And we have no answers right now. We have very little information.
And obviously, it took you 3 days to find this information out from the police as well, didn't it?
Oh yeah. They filed a missing person report, but they refused to file an Amber Alert for him. But they also asked the mother that if when everyone reported him missing, if we find a phone, can we get in using his code? And she was looking for a missing child, so she gave them permission to get into his phone. But we had no way. We ended up having to call the Travis County coroner's office to see if they have any John Doe that was killed on June 2 days prior. And they had a John Doe, and they described what he had on, but they would not let the family go identify the body.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Wow, this is
Yeah.
absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Can I just pick up there? You mentioned the Amber Alert system, which is what
Yeah,
I mentioned
yeah.
in the presentation earlier on, which is linked to Palantir and John Podesta and that stuff. So they actually refused to use the Amber Alert system in this case.
They absolutely refused, and he had already been missing for 24 hours before they reported him, and they were insisting, but the police was saying, no, we can't do that. We're not issuing an Amber Alert. But they were wanting information from the family. We didn't. That was on a Saturday night, and into midnight, so early morning Sunday. We didn't find out about something happening at 2:05 on June 17th that took the life of a 15-year-old boy until 3 o'clock Sunday. So we were, my sister-in-law and I were calling places trying to figure out if it was Isaiah or not. If he was involved, and the parents got told that when they were going to knock on friends that he was supposed to be at his house, they were told that they were impeding a criminal investigation. Didn't tell us what it was about or anything. Nobody knew. We didn't even know what that meant.
It's absolutely crazy. And you're trying to get a private autopsy now, aren't you?
Yeah, we actually, the Know Your Rights campaign by Colin Kaepernick from California, the football player, started an initiative.
Yeah.
It's called the Know Your Rights Initiative, and they did take up, they did accept Izzy or Isaiah's body, and they have done the second autopsy, but we've just not got the preliminary results back yet.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we've got a link for you anyway, so if anybody would like to help donate and help Sammy here.
It's for the funeral. My brother and sister-in-law were not, and they had custody of Isaiah, and they were not expecting to have to bury him.
I'm just going to find it. I'm just finding the GoFundMe link now. I'm going to put it on the. I'm going to put it in the comments section. So if anybody wants to support this lady in this terrible situation that's been forced upon her, this is how you do it. We're going to put the GoFundMe link on. Just carry on. Let me just find it.
Yes. We appreciate that so much.
No, it's our pleasure.
It's we have retained counsel, and it's a small town. I don't know if y'all have seen the news about the new country music song that came out. Something about My Small Town by Jason Adler. It's a big controversy over here in America right now, but it's basically promoting. He says it's promoting community, but what it seems to be promoting is policing and carrying guns, and small communities take care of their own. It's turning into kind of a racist song. CMT has refused to play the video and stuff. So there's a lot of underlying little drama with our music industry going on right now concerning
that's
small towns. Yeah,
that's another thing that's important about this is you live in a nice area, don't you? There's a nice community. This kind of policing isn't necessary where you live.
No policing is necessary.
Yeah.
So this isn't a high crime area.
No, it wasn't. And we don't have all the details. We have what we've been told, and the reason we retain counsel is because 3 different law enforcement agencies told us 3 different things, and that's when we decided we want to know the truth of what happened, what led to it. Like I said, this is a child that's never been in trouble with the law before. He was 90 pounds. He weighed 90 pounds, and he was shot in the back of the head. Now, what they are saying is that that he shot the police officer with a stolen gun first. But I have pictures of the police officer injuries, and it doesn't look anything like a gunshot. Yeah. I mean, I probably shouldn't be saying this right now, but it's just the truth.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got the link now, so we can definitely donate and try and help our best to this, because this is absolutely it's just unheard of where we live.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist, and this is an issue that needs to be raised to the world. It can't just stop. Yeah. It can't just stop in America anymore, because it's becoming more and more common.
And
Yeah,
just to
he's 15
reiterate,
years old.
he had no
Years-
record of being involved with crime or
No,
gangs.
no,
He had
no,
a clean
no.
record, this kid.
He's 15 years old.
Not himself. No. Supposedly there was another kid involved, but who has been in trouble. But the only thing that we know Isaiah was guilty of was being out after curfew. In this small town, they have a 10 o'clock curfew for kids.
A 10
under
o'clock
18.
curfew. Right, okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well,
But it doesn't justify the actions of the officer.
No,
at all. So
no, it doesn't.
nothing justifies
Yeah.
this.
Can I just ask why there is a 10 o'clock curfew?
Who the hell? It's a small town. It's Texas.
Yeah, we got to remember in America the lawmaking is really down to states and sometimes down to counties, and the laws in America can vary hugely from state to state and county to county.
My husband and I live in Florida right now, and whoo, that's fun.
Yeah, that Florida is the place that I visited as a kid dozens of times. Spent a lot of time there in my youth. That was my experience of America, was really purely Florida. So that's all I knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really a real insight for people from the UK, right? In our country, although North and South has a very different experience, the laws are the same. Even down to local councils, everything is pretty much the same around the country. You know, there are different funding for different things, but hey, you commit a crime in one place in the UK and it's exactly the same in every other place. There's no difference for criminal charges, for car driving thing. It's all the same. It's just the same. So this is very different to our experience.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous from state to state, the varying laws and even what they can teach in schools. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. There's a lot different from what goes on in America in your educational system as well as over in here. So there is problems all the way up from the bottom to the top now, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
And a lack of care where it's needed, and a lack of funding where it's needed. And before we go on about what's good about America, I just thought it would be good to raise these issues, and I thought there's no better person to explain these.
Yeah,
I couldn't find the words.
what a salient example of a complete failure of what is supposed to be. That America, is supposed to be the pinnacle of the West. That the American dream. America is.
But that's exactly, you nailed it though. That's exactly what it is. It's a dream. It's an idea. It's not working.
Yeah. A failed dream. I've got to say, this is what you're doing now is very brave. And I implore anyone that is touched by this story to donate to the GoFundMe. The details are on the screen. Let me just put it up here again. This is absolutely harrowing. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. This takes incredible bravery. Really, hats off to you.
Yeah, big love, for this.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
You go talk about what's good, Richard?
Yeah, so do you want to just quickly share about the obviously the legalization of cannabis and how it's helping a little bit before I go on? Or
oh yeah. You want to tell me about it?
Well,
tell me what you.
Obviously, it's still illegal in the UK. I just wanted you to sort of open up a little bit how it is helping separate the cannabis from the black market, and it's becoming more medicinal, and the benefits of it, and how it is helping a little bit with reducing crime.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, I think they need to release everyone that's in the legal states now and get them out of jail, and get them free and get the records wiped from that. But the medical cannabis, this is the first state I've lived in. Florida does have medical marijuana. I am a medical marijuana user.
Yeah.
I wish they would decriminalize it throughout the United States, though.
Yeah, of course.
Am I right in thinking that actually it's still illegal at a federal level? Because that's the truth, of course, of the whole of America, according to the DEA.
Yeah.
Because what's crazy? Pardon me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Florida have recreational legal cannabis now?
No. Florida is not.
You still have to have a medical card, right?
You have to have a medical card in Florida. Now New York is recreational. We
Yeah.
were just visiting there not too long ago, and medical.
So it's kind of crazy that in some states you need a medical card. In some states it's still
Yeah.
just standardly illegal.
Mate,
And
even
in
if
other
you've
states
got-
you can just literally go into the shop and buy it like you do in a
But
7-Eleven.
you're still not allowed to. Like, I go snowboarding a lot in the States, and you can't smoke on a mountain because that's
Yeah,
federal land.
You can't cross state lines. I mean,
No.
yeah, if I was to take my medical marijuana into Tennessee, I could still get arrested for it.
That's
or
crazy.
into Ohio.
We have medical marijuana here now.
Oh yeah, we have like a synthetic equivalent. Don't
No,
we?
no. You can get you can get real weed.
Ah.
If you have the card and you qualify, you can get weed here now. I think that's happened maybe halfway through last year.
So.
Nice.
Because what most people don't know is that England is the largest exporter in the world of medical cannabis.
Yeah.
We actually export 90% of our cannabis to Canada, and most of it comes back here on the black market. It's sold back to us. So although
wow.
This was happening before it went medically legal in this country, it's grown in the southwest in huge polytunnels, which are owned mostly by family members of the current incumbent Tory government, and we are the largest exporter in the world. This tiny, pathetic little island, we export it to Canada and to the US. Funnily enough, not many people know this. You can Google this.
Yeah, I do know that.
Interesting.
And there's such a glut of it in Canada that now people are collecting it and then selling it back recreationally to people in this country through Telegram and Signal and stuff like that. So it's a crazy situation. Everyone knows I'm big in Southeast Asia. I go to Thailand all the time. I've worked there for many years, and for many years I had to be super careful about my habitual weed smoking habit when I went to Southeast Asia, because at the very best you could get a $500 fine. Very worse, you could go to Monkey House for smoking a joint, and Monkey House is the word for prison in Southeast Asia. It's called Monkey House because it's literally like a cage. Yeah, and there's hundreds of people in there like little monkeys. But the fact is now in Thailand, it's fully recreationally legal, and it's even more so than any state in America or even Amsterdam. They sell it everywhere. You can sit at a beach resort, the highest level cafe right on the beach. They'll bring you silver platters. They'll roll it for you. Every restaurant has a weed shop in it. There are still people serving life sentences in Thailand for selling weed, or even smoking it, serving 10 years for getting caught by the wrong policeman with a joint. And now it's fully legal. So that it just beggars belief.
We're currently able to buy CBD oil in a lot of health shops in the UK now. A lot of people are feeling the benefits of CBD oil. In the last 5-10 years, they've legalised it here and started selling it in health shops.
Yeah, it's just nowhere near what America does and how much it does help certain people, especially when it comes to Parkinson's and stuff like that. You're talking about people being able to live everyday lives that couldn't do it before.
One thing I noticed the difference about America, which they don't have in Thailand. Thailand only sells flour, and edibles are still illegal, as is concentrates. But I know that the concentrate market in America is huge, and this is really much more to do with the medical side, because this is where you get the RSO, the Rick Simpson oil. You know, these miracle black goo syringes, where you see the kids that are having terrible fits, smashing their head on the floor. They can't stop fitting and convulsing. They take a little bit of this under the tongue, and they're absolutely fine. This stuff is very, very powerful, this RSO. So I think that's probably to do, because America is always doing things bigger, badder, and better than anyone else. When it went legal there, they really, went super scientific.
Yeah.
And the extracts and the concentrates now, although if you smoke that stuff recreationally, it's not good news because you just become a super stoner. But medically, that stuff, because you're extracting the THC in a very pure level, that's really what you want for the medical side of it. If you're working with the THC.
Sammy, before you got prescribed this, or before you started taking it medically, were you prescribed prescription medication like synthetic painkillers or?
Oh, I didn't have synthetic painkillers, but I was on antidepressant medicine like Wellbutrin and Xanax
So like SSRIs, those selective serotonin inhibitors that mess with the circuitry of your brain, basically.
Yeah, so bad. Yeah.
So this is something America is definitely getting right compared to the UK, because it's more readily available. It's treating so much now, and it's replacing a lot of these synthetic medicines.
Well, I think it's obviously massively beneficial if, for one, you can separate the weed industry with organised crime.
Yeah,
That's just good for everyone.
Yeah, and I think in Michigan, it was on the 6th of June, they released an article. I think it made $282 million gross in 1 month.
Can I play devil's advocate here? Some research that I've done that shows that there is a side effect and a negative to this. And do you know what it is? Before the legalization of weed in America and before it went completely commercially viable, the Mexican cartels were filling their pockets importing the Mexican weed, which is of a huge amount, a low quality, it's cheap, and they were bringing tons of it over the border and pumping it into America and filling their pockets with it. The problem is, and this is from my own research, correct me if I'm wrong, but since the proliferation of the legal cannabis, and now you can get the highest grade everywhere, the Mexican weed is completely moribund. It's useless. It's surplus to requirement.
Yeah.
So the Mexican cartels had like maybe 30% of their profits or their whole revenue wiped out in a space of 6 months to a year. And unfortunately, what that meant was that they had to further invest in their other products.
Yeah.
Which is namely crystal meth, and what they also started doing for the first time ever, and not many people know this, is the Mexican cartels actually started producing their own cocaine, because previously they were importing it from your South American hubs a little bit further into the jungle, Colombia, Peru, Brazil. But what happened for the first time ever, they were forced to diversify, start growing their own coca crops in Mexico, because with the right agricultural techniques it's possible. They also started producing crystal meth on a much higher level, and then you had the problem of fentanyl coming into the mix as well. Because if you are an evil drug dealing empire and you're basically just banking on addiction, you don't care if, lacing your products with fentanyl,
it's disgusting,
which is the most harmful, addictive substance on the earth at the moment, as if crystal meth isn't bad enough. Lacing it with fentanyl
it's absolutely disgusting.
is just beyond evil, and obviously it's all to do with profits. So I hate to chuck that in the mix, but we put everything on the table here, and that might there's varying degrees of truth in what I've just said, and you can draw a graph about it, but that is a factor.
Yeah.
So we can't count on what the Mexican cartels are going to do when we legalize a plant, I guess.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming on.
Again, thank you, Sam. It's been an amazing insight, and I can't thank you enough for sharing that with us.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll drop you a message over the weekend anyway, Sammy.
And we'll send you a Rise Above T-shirt too.
Okay, cool.
And don't forget, if you wanna help this lady and the situation she's been forced in by a failure of the state, don't forget to hit up this GoFundMe link and give what you can. This is an excellent cause. Thanks again, Sammy.
Yeah, bless.
God bless, Sammy.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Wow, that's deep. That's really, really deep. Let me just press a button here. Rise above.
Rise above, generate. Rise above, extinguish fear. Rise above, abstract.
So, Amish people, the failure of the state, the legalisation of cannabis. You also attended a festival over there, right?
Yes, so I've actually I attended these festivals from 2017, I think, onwards, and I found this lovely community. It's actually called a festival called Pyro de Mayo, which is done by a guy called Joe, and it's more of a grassroots festival. But what it does is it's brought so many different cultures together into one place. And you've got the natives, you've got the Tainos, they all come to this festival, and we all interlink, and they all share stories and their music with us. But you've also got these people that sort of live on their school buses. I think they call themselves schoolies, and they all just interact at this festival. There was a lady there called Grandma Beatrice. She's a native. She was actually in the White House or something the week before, negotiating like Native American treaties, and she was at this festival with us, which was like, it was pretty crazy. And there was Willie Nelson's granddaughter there as well. So we just had this massive culture of people. But what it actually showed me is there's so many good parts about America that people don't see, and good people out there. such as Sammy.
Because we get, let's face it, America does not get a good rap.
No.
Always, you know, through the last few years in Rise Above, and many years before I started Rise Above, I've talked about in like 2018 when I was moving into the mainstream sports media, and I had to be careful about what I was posting. So I was posting about the culture wars in America, the red versus blue, and I was always saying that, you know, see this crazy shit that's happening in America, see these Antifa battering the patriots in the street, see this clown world stuff, see BLM. See drag queen story hour. That all started in America first, and all of those terrible aspects of clown world culture all start in America, because America is the petri dish.
Yes, it's the feeding place, because it's got such a big culture.
We are downstream culturally from America. Whereas where it comes to financially and the actual control system of the head of the snake, everyone else in the realm is downstream from us.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I suppose America is downstream from the Tavistock Institute.
Yeah.
You know, where all of these clown world themes and archetypes are thought up. But I always said to everyone, and this was back in 17, 18, when I was posting about this stuff and, you know, not the crazy stuff. And I said to everyone, why are you posting about this? And I was like, listen, give it 2, 3, 4 years, this will all be coming to the UK. No, it won't. You must be mad. Want to bet? Well, we don't have Antifa versus MAGA red hat people. We will have Antifa versus
climate change.
No, or Antifa versus right-wing football hooligan true for racists, or right-wingers that don't like pedos reading stories to kids. You know, and the narrative is the same. The juxtaposition is the same. The polarity, the binary is always the same. Red versus blue, left versus right. The names change a little bit.
And that is always shown over here. But there is actually some really nice parts of America. There are some really good people and there's some really good cultures out there. And I have discovered this at this kind of sort of grassroots festival. And there's a lot of things that they are getting right. And especially in Michigan at the moment, a lot of people are moving to Michigan just because they literally used to smoke weed, and it's illegal in Kentucky, for example. One guy I knew out there, and he was classed as a criminal out there, so he moved to Michigan just because now he's a law-abiding citizen. And it's just, can you imagine if they did that out here, and how much less paperwork the police would have to load, but how many people would no longer be classed as a criminal, and how closely associated the cannabis market is to the cocaine market, for example, out here. You could just eliminate that. And like I said, in I think it was in May, Michigan made $285 million gross in cannabis sales alone in 1 month, and
that can be revenue that you know that whether you agree or not, that's tax money.
Yeah, as much as we don't like to give it to the government, just think what that government could be using that for. I know a lot of people are going to jump in the group the chats now and be like, "Oh, they're going to give us fuck all," but I'm just using it as an example.
Well, if you work by the premise that some of the tax money goes into maintaining roads, some of it goes to hospitals, some of it goes to schools, because some of it does. We know that most tax is bullshit and we're just paying the who's, but some of the money the money for the infrastructure that we rely on has to come from somewhere.
Or ignore the fact that it's going back into the tax system. Then, if we had people with cafes or shops that were small businessmen, the money would be going back to the small businessmen instead of overseas for the people that are purchasing the weed from the gangs. So the money would still be going back into the system, but into the smaller businesses within the system, and the money would be seen back.
Well, in this country, how does it work? Apart from your mate who has a grow that you get it from, domestic weed in this country is generally grown by homegrown criminal gangs, or mostly by the Southeast Asian gangs.
Yeah.
The Vietnamese, the Chinese. Now, the difference between the homegrown criminals that are just regular criminals and the Southeast Asian gangs is the Southeast Asian gangs also traffic people in, and they use slave labour in the weed farms. Yeah. I know this. I don't know how many other people know this, but this is the thing. Every time a weed farm is raided, you find some little Chinese mate that sort of like lives there, and he has just a fucking a cup of water in the corner, and he has to sit there until the crop is finished, and then he's put to the next place. So you're also talking about slave labour. You're talking about human trafficking, and then you're talking about, obviously, most of the time they rent people's domestic properties or commercial properties and trash them. They don't do it in their own underground layer. They don't do it in a warehouse somewhere that no one owns. They do it in what usually they're renting off other people who have no idea that it's happening. This is a very common archetype in this country. I guess it happens in other places in Europe too. So as soon as this, whether you like cannabis or not, as soon as this is legalized and the problems for growing it are taken out, then those Chinese gangs, they can't compete because they grow shit products.
Yeah.
They can't compete with someone that's doing it properly, taking care, making a good product, and not using slave labour. You know, believe it or not, slaves aren't very good at growing weed.
No.
You need to have someone that really knows what they're doing and is doing it because they like it. So, yeah. Should we talk about these?
Yeah, well.
Well, yeah, we happen to have some limited edition Amish gummies. If anyone would like to contact me, I'll just leave that there. We won't talk about that too much. So yeah, it's very interesting. These stories, when we can take it from different parts of the world, different legislations, and the literal effects on society and how that plays out.
Yeah.
There you go, Andy PG, sample them, please. So, yeah, this has been, we've really gone hard tonight, haven't we? No mucking about, no clown world,
No.
Straight down to business. Have you got anything else you want to bring to the table?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, listen, the reason that Richard is able to do this travelling, to go around and to make these connections with people, because he has obviously gone in deep here. He hasn't just gone to America for a week or so and had a stroll around. You know, he's really made some connections over there. This is all from being a digital nomad. So before we play Godvaj to play us out in 10 minutes, we're going to have one last little talk about the digital nomad training. If you want to be in a position where you can start to do a bit more travelling, get out of your particular part of Clown World, I seriously suggest you grab one of the last few tickets for our course, which is happening next Thursday, the 27th. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Scan the QR code. It's only £5. It's going to be about 33 people, myself and Richard. We're going to have a nice chat for an hour, tell you about all of the opportunities.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you're not just like business sense, you don't have the time to invest in a business, you think you can do as little as 4 hours a week for this. You can say, oh, I just want to pay for my electric bill, or I just want to cover my petrol bill, and you just want £200 a month from this. These are because the startup costs are so small. You can literally
sometimes it's zero startup cost.
You can literally just set these businesses up just to make an extra 50 quid a week if that's what you want. Or there is jobs on there that you only require you to be online 4 hours a week for customer services for other people's social media, where you just reply to people's comments on their Facebook page basically for them. This is all just basic stuff, but I can navigate you and I can show you where it is, I can teach you, I can direct you, but I can also find a personal package for you if you want to set up your own business. We can drive, for example, a clothing company or a cosmetics company, or like Andy's doing, he's just going to sort of do a blog and run a YouTube channel. And
here's a good example: my skating videos.
Yeah.
So everyone's seen I've been smashing the skating. I've been making videos with this 360 camera that looks wicked. Well, Richard said to me, "I'm sure people are getting inspired by your videos. People are asking about that camera. I've seen them in the comment section. Sometimes they're asking where you got your skates." Within a couple of days, Richard had gone to Insta360, the makers of the camera, looked on their website, and found that they actually have an affiliate program. He's got me a link. I've applied for the affiliate program. They've accepted me, and within a day, I've posted another video, and someone has liked it, bought the camera using my link, and I've got $25 in the bank.
Yeah, so that's what's called ghost marketing or affiliate marketing. So this is also something we will be covering within the program, and it's basically making commissions off other people's products. You can do this through holidays. You can do this through through Amazon products, and just do like TikTok videos. I will be giving you a brief overview of all these different things, and also how to monetize hobbies. If you're a photographer, we can work with something on how you can get the websites up running really at a low cost, and how we can get this print on demand products, so you're not actually buying all your prints out front or all your canvases up front. If it's just knowledge of something, so if you've got knowledge of like crystals or something like that, we can guide you into making your own YouTube channel and educate them through that, and then build a shop off the side of it where you can actually sell your own crystals. Anything anything that you're interested in, we can find a fabricated method for you to make some money off the
And
internet
remember,
on
this
the side.
course next Thursday is for people that have no idea about this. This is a proper introduction to digital freedom. The courses going forward are going to be much more detailed when you've already got your projects on the go, and Rich is going to be there to provide support and tutelage for you. This is to find out if it's for you. It's only a £5 an hour, right?
Yeah,
with backup on
it might
Telegram.
go a bit over time.
Might go, yeah, we might go a bit longer. There's no limit.
What you will have also as well, we will have a group chat between everybody. So all 33 of us, you and me, will all be in a group chat together. So I will be helping you for like 3-4 weeks afterwards. I'm a message away for anything that you need or any guidance that you need. And then when you find your niche, there will be more detailed programs for this, for your niche. If you want to go into affiliate marketing, if you just want your own business, or if you want to just resell products that are already selling, like I do. I just list products that are already generating sales and use analytical software to show me which products to buy.
And I'll just let you know, the proceeds from this ticket sales, me and Rise Above and whoever's doing the Academy with us, in this case Richard, we go 50-50. We are doing this. We're not selling you anything apart from this seminar. There's no pyramid scheme involved. There's no sales plan. There's nothing like that. We're doing this because we truly want to provide enrichment for the Amish community. The more people in our community that are self-sufficient, self-reliant and prosperous, it's better for all of us.
Yeah.
If we can start to learn some methods of even earning an extra tenner a week, extra £50 a week. Oh, I got £3.33 off this little side hustle here. Oh, that'll pay for this. Do you know what I mean? Many people are literally stuck with one source of income. And if they can't get extra overtime, they can't get a raise, they have to budget around this one fixed thing. This is the key to expanding your income if you want to. So, guys, I think there's 4 spaces left. Scan the QR code now. Raw Academy, Digital Nomad Training. Richard Ryder, spud me. And remember, we're doing this. Richard is helping the HR department. He's helping Rise Above. He's working with Bad Slave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is already in action. It's already working.
And if you've got an existing business as well, we do help with business development. We do help with meta ads, and using the digital universe to help generate more trade for you if you're a tradesman or anything like that. So
Raw Agenda 2033. Create a strong raw economy and enrich the community.
Yeah.
Rise above, bitches.
Rise above, generate, rise
Right.
above, distinguish fear, rise above.
It's been a real roller coaster tonight. I've said it before. We are now trying to properly diversify with the shows. Tonight has been all info, all chat, and all research. Last week we had the music show, so we're not mixing it up anymore. We're actually going to be diversifying. Next week we are having a break because I'm back on MC duties. I'm back at the O2 live TV and stuff, and I'm doing BKB. Quite a lot going on for me at the moment. So we're having a break next week. We will return the week after with an interactive call-in show, customer services. We'll also review news stories in Clown World, okay? Did anyone see God Vag has dropped a new video?
I've seen it.
Have you seen it, mate? I haven't seen it yet.
Seen it.
I deliberately didn't see it. Andy PG, have you got anything you want to add before we sign over to God Vag, my trusty co-host?
Oh, we might have a little mix next when we come back as well.
Yeah, week after next.
Yeah, just a little mix. Nothing too strenuous for the ones that don't like the music.